Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda. All right, welcome back. We continue to showcase the local schools with the powerlifting that took place over the weekend last weekend. And it was a great event. Joining us now, the Morgan City coach for the powerlifting, Mark Danos. Mark, good to see you. How are you, sir?
Good to see y'all as well. Thank y'all for having me.
Anytime. All right, so you were there. You had a couple of contestants there on Saturday. Let's talk about your two that you had up there.
Sure. Well, I had Bryce Oquin, who was my 114. Bryce actually competed at the Bayou Regional powerlifting meet and actually broke the regional bench press record over there. He's 114 pounds. I want to say he bench pressed 210 at the meet. He was entering state as the 3 seed. Going into deadlift, which is the last event at powerlifting meets, Bryce had a little bit of an injury, wasn't able to finish, but before that point, he was in first place. So a little bit of an unfortunate, turn of events, but that's sports. Maddox is a very unique case. Maddox is also one of my football players. He competed in the 275s. He weighs about approximately 250 pounds. What's interesting with Maddox is, in powerlifting, a lot of people lift equipped. And what that means is, they wear bench press shirts and squat suits. Maddox placed fifth at this meet, and he only wore a bench press shirt. He didn't wear a squat suit or any type of deadlift suit. So the pounds that he totaled, was virtually raw. So we have, high hopes for him and certainly high hopes for Bryce. Both of those guys are juniors, so we have another year with them. And so we're looking to grow with them and hopefully we can make a little bit more noise next year at state.
Now, you talked about Bryce, with the injury, but that is a big risk in powerlifting. It's such a sport where you're dealing with a lot of heavy weight. So it's probably at sometimes hard to manage that, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. We treat it just as we do any other sport. Those accidents and those injuries occur. It's just up to us as coaches to keep the kids as safe as possible and, get them access to treatment and rehab, just like we would a football player, a basketball player, or anything like that. We don't see quite the number of injuries that you would see in some of these other sports, but again, they do occur from time to time.
Yeah, how do you know when somebody's got it? When they get to the meet and y'all walk out in the arena and you see all the people in the stands and, there's probably some that go, oh my God, and there's others that go, all right, let's go, bring it, let's go. How do you figure them out?
With that, it's same thing with coaching any sport. I think every kid's a little bit different, wired a little bit differently. You have some that are just stone cold and none of that stuff affects them. Some of those guys are a little bit more wound tight to where you have to kind of play in their head and talk to them. What I like to do, especially for the state meet, when there's early weigh-ins, I like to take them, walk the facility right after we weigh in the day prior. That way they get an idea of the layout. They see the lights, they can envision, the people in the crowd and things like that. And part of that is also just getting those guys more experience at other meets, because even though this was the state meet, they have some great meets across the state where they're held at big time facilities and things like that. And the more you get yourself out there and see those things, the more you could be able to kind of get those nerves and get them that experience to not have some of those pre-lift jitters.
How did you get involved in this, Mark, or what got you interested in powerlifting?
So I originally was at HL Bourgeois. I got there in 2014. I was the weight room guy. That was kind of my contribution to the football team. That year, they passed in Terrebonne Parish to adopt the sport across the area. And so my principal at the time, Matt Hodson, thankfully, pulled me aside and asked if I was interested in spearheading it, and I was. And so I did my time at Bourgeois. I did 9 years, and I made the jump to Morgan City last February. And so we're looking to grow that program just like we grew HL Bourgeois in that time.
Yeah, and it really has. I've gone to a couple of events over the last couple of years, and man, I like the way they move it, city to city.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's you get to see a different place. But man, it's a sport that 40 years ago didn't exist. And then, we had Corey told us that about 83 it started coming onto the scene, but it looks like it's here to stay for sure.
Oh, definitely. Corey, I owe a lot of gratitude to Corey because when I first got in, I knew a weight room, but I didn't know the sport of powerlifting. And a lot of times that's two different things. And Corey really did a great job of taking me under his wing and kind of teaching me the ins and outs and things like that. But in my opinion, just in the time that I've done it, it's one of the fastest growing sports in the state. It used to be to qualify for state, you had to be a top 15 lifter across the state. Then the numbers started getting so big that it bumped that number down to 10. And we're also in a situation where so many more schools are hosting it that it really is very, very difficult to get into invitational meets. So that's almost something scheduling wise you have to jump on top of very early to secure you a spot. But it's certainly a growing sport, and it's something that's 100% here to stay. I guess the next one on that list is wrestling because that's starting to pick up some steam as well
All right.
across the state. But
There you have it.
yeah, we're definitely here to stay.
All right, Coach Mark Danos, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you for having me, y'all. Take care.
We'll be back with more.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda.